Hello and welcome back. I'm Ken. We're visiting with Mike. Mike, last time we visited, you introduced a tool, a way of approaching an idea. We've got a goal, and the tool is to think of the 8 things that you need to address in order to move toward that goal. Go
Right.
ahead, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought, well, let's move from there's just theory into practice.
Yeah,
Let me do it. So I was thinking, what's really my goal? My goal was to pass on whatever experience and knowledge I've accumulated over the years I was in industry. And really, in some ways, the things that I've learned that and I never got to the university, and I spent a long time in academia, both in as a student and as a professor. And when you look at the content of some of those things, there's big holes of things that ought to be passed on, kind of thing. So anyway, that's my goal is how do I pass it on. So it was kind of funny because then I started thinking about the 8 boxes that ought to be considered. And it was a struggle to come up with 8, which is kind of funny because um, it just showed that you've got to really think through what are the building blocks that have to be in place. And if you want to implement something, you better make sure that you cover those different boxes.
I see. It's
So that was
interesting that you struggled to come up with 8, and I came up with 9. But go ahead,
nine.
keep
Okay,
going.
well, that's good. That's good. So anyway, so that was the first thing that I learned, even though I'm preaching about a theory, when I start doing it, I say, oh, guess what? I better
Yeah.
do it.
Yep.
So then one of the boxes that I got was to develop the content. And part of the content is to make a list of all the topics that need to be addressed, which is kind of funny because when we started, the list is more in the making than upfront
Yes.
because I didn't really think about, what is it that I'm trying to convey. I'll just say, okay, well, we'll talk. So the list of topic was the first thing that came up. And then the second thing from content is what format do I want to use? How do I convey some of that stuff? Another box that I came up with was the media. There's different alternatives. One is to write a book. Another one is to write articles, to give seminars, or to use the internet like we're doing right now. And then what are the pluses and minuses of each, and which one is the one that would make more sense. So anyway, so that was another box. Then the question was the audience. How do I reach? Who do I want to reach, and how would? So then I've got to think about, do I want professionals? Do I want students? Do I want, and each of the different audiences have different behaviors and characteristics and things that you ought to consider.
If you want to have effective communication.
Yes,
Communication is my field, and if you study your audience, you'll be more effective. Go ahead, please.
exactly. So anyway, I went through all of that kind of thing. And so then I was thinking, I say, well, if somebody's looking at those things, well, what is it that they're supposed to get out of this? The thing is that one is it keeps you focused. When I start making the 8 boxes and say, okay, what are the key building blocks that I need to have in place for this to be successful? Uh, and then after that is my goal uh, altruistic in the sense of, yeah, I want to enrich people's lives or save them grief that I had to go through, that if they can learn from it. And, the surprising thing is most people don't learn from being told. They learn by experience and by stumbling here and there and everywhere. Anyway,
May I comment on that?
yes,
I agree completely. And one of my dad's pieces of advice that I have often repeated, get experience as cheaply as you can.
yes,
He was encouraging me to listen to wise people and benefit from their experience without having to make the mistake myself. Go
yeah,
ahead, please.
yeah. So, uh, and then milestones. So, for instance, with what we're doing and recording the stuff, how do I measure progress? Is it just that we have the weekly meetings and we've got something to post, or is it the number of people who are interested? And how do we get that list, or do we need to find some people that have large networks and if they pass on what we have to pass on, then guess what? Suddenly you multiply your reach kind of thing. So there's a whole complexity of what seems to be rather simple. It grows on you kind of thing. And then the question then I was raising is, do I really want to suffer and work through all of this? Because I was trying to be as painless as I can in, conveying all that stuff. But the point is if you really want to be successful, you have to really be committed.
Yeah.
And that's what you see with Nehemiah. That's what you see with Bratton. That's what you see with Ono, with all the guys, Judas. They were willing to suffer through and to really drive to get the results. So the making of the 8 areas, the 8 building blocks, and starting to develop actions required under each of them, really shows the complexity and the amount of work that has to be done, really, to be successful. Otherwise, it's flash in the pan and it fades away. Anyway, so that's what I learned from the whole thing, separate from, just a specific of what I need to do,
Yeah.
because everybody else will be different.
Sure.
So what I'm trying to say is I encourage people to have the discipline to work it through and then to set things in motion. And hopefully they'll be successful if they follow up their plan.
Yeah. Look at it from all angles. The further you
Exactly.
go, the more you realize needs to be done. Like the topic. I love the topic list because it grows as we go.
Yes.
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 Yeah. So shall I take a turn?
Yes, please.
You asked me to pick a goal and to, find the 8 things and decide, what use it as an example. I have a friend who was a church planter in Australia who is now going all over the world helping construction projects for missionaries, church planters, etc., who invited me to go with him to Goroka, which is a location in Papua New Guinea. And it sounds like exactly what I want to do with my retirement. So let's take a look at what are the things that I would have to consider or follow through or work on in order to go to Goroka. I would be helping um, construct a hospital high in the mountains in Papua New Guinea. Well, one of the things, we have a new puppy, and a lot of the puppy's care comes to me. And so we want to think about that. There are other options and possibilities, so that's not a deal breaker, but that's one of the boxes that needs to be checked. My family,
Yes.
caring for my family. I would be gone for 2 weeks and, looking out for them and protecting them and um, helping them in the ways that I help. Again, it's likely that they'll be fine without me, but
Mm.
that's one of the things you think about.
Let
Another
me
thing you
ask,
think about, go ahead.
let me ask you a question on the 2 weeks. Is that long enough?
Well, that's
In
a good
other words,
question.
in
That
other
that's a good.
words, it's not just starting it, but the question is, what are the chances of bringing something to a meaningful conclusion kind of thing?
Yeah, and that's an excellent question. I can tell you've been to other places and you're familiar with these projects. We had a very um, attainable goal for this 2 weeks, and that
Mm,
was to put up what I call bathroom board. It's actually hardboard that's colored white. You may have seen it. We were going to put up bathroom board on the walls, screw it to the studs of a building so that we would prepare them to be able to sanitize those walls for a hospital. And
mm,
so our job was to put up the bathroom board on the ceiling, on the walls.
okay.
And with the crew, I would be one of maybe half a dozen guys. With the crew that we had assembled, it was reasonable. We may or may not be able to do that. One of the frustrations of being in somebody else's country is that things come up and it's keeping you from accomplishing your goal, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, it was reasonable. So that's a great question. I appreciate the question. One of the things about going to Papua New Guinea, from all I've heard about it, it's jungle, it's tropics.
Yes,
I could die.
yes.
I could be bit by a mosquito and die. I could be bit by a poisonous whatever. There are poisonous
Mm,
insects and there are poisonous snakes, and and I could die. Well, when you check that box, I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
mm,
And that means I'm ready to die if
mm.
that's what he chooses to
Yeah,
be the end of my life. And so I'm willing to go anyway. But one of the boxes is I could die. And when I go, I want to be ready, have things in order as much as I can, so that if I die, my my loved ones will be taken care of and they'll be able to
yes.
move forward.
Do you
There's a
need a
cost,
visa to go there?
sir.
Do you need a visa to go there?
That's another excellent question. I have to have a passport, and I will ask the missionary who's asking me to go with him if we need a visa, and we'll get that taken care of. Um, Boy, I don't know where the nearest Papua New Guinea embassy is, or if or if they work through another, because you'd have to go to their embassy and get the permission to
The
go to their country.
embassy or consulate, yeah,
Yeah, consulate. That's okay.
yeah,
And there's cost. And it's not just cost for the paperwork, there's cost to fly, there's cost to eat, to stay, et cetera, et cetera.
yes,
It's another one of the boxes that needs to be checked.
yeah,
The cost is not prohibitive. There's a sense in which the Lord has already provided the cost.
mm,
And my decision is, do I invest those resources in that way or not? So, cost is another one of the
mm,
things.
mm, mm,
I'm the one in my family who pays the bills. So, in addition to the cost of the trip, the consideration, the box that needs to be checked is who's going to take care of the bills while I'm gone?
mm,
I have a Bible study that I conduct on Fridays. Every Friday, there's a Bible study, 10 o'clock in the morning in the basement of the First Baptist Church. I don't have somebody who would step in and take care of that Bible study for me.
mm, mm,
Now, is that a deal breaker? Probably not a deal breaker. I think the people in the Bible study would be happy for me to take a couple weeks break and they would take a couple weeks break and then we would continue after I got back. But it's a consideration. It's one of the boxes that needs to be checked. Another consideration is what can I accomplish? Well, we talked about the construction part that I can accomplish, but part of what I want to do is lift people up everywhere I go. Um, Not only the people who grew up in Papua New Guinea, I want to lift up the people who are there to help them, the
mm,
leaders, others, everywhere I go, everybody I talk to. I want to be an oasis of shalom in
mm,
everywhere I go. And that's something that I can do only because the Holy Spirit empowers me to do. Um, Another one of the boxes is tools. Should I
mm,
take tools with me?
yeah,
Oh, excuse me. I have I have in mind that it would be very practical and helpful if I would take one of my hammers, a construction hammer, and my cordless. screwdriver drill, whatever you want to call it. It's a DeWalt cordless 20-volt system, two different battery packs and a charger. I'm thinking that little bag and my hammer would at least be well worth the weight because when you start taking tools, there's a lot of weight. And if you're
Yes,
flying, weight matters.
yes.
So that's another box to be checked. I will check with the missionary, but I'm thinking he'll probably have me bring my hammer and my DeWalt cordless screwdriver drill. I've got bits so it can be used as a drill and as a screwdriver. We're going to be using screws to mount the bathroom board, and so I'll be using. I would use the cordless drill to put up the bathroom board. Um, and here's my pun. You know how much I love puns. In a job like this, I try to screw it down without screwing it up. Anyway, the other consideration is, will I leave my tools in Papua New Guinea?
Mm.
Because it's so hard to get them there. It's so hard. It's so expensive. I could take my cordless drill and leave it there and go get another one much less expensively
Yes.
than the one who's there trying to help to obtain one in Papua New Guinea. So that's another consideration. Now, it, I count nine. Um, I may not have signposted them well, but there's a lot to it. And I appreciate the task that you gave me of grabbing a goal and trying to see it from every angle. Now, you've asked some questions. Do you have more questions about my goal and other boxes that I might want to consider?
No more. What did you gain from doing that? Was there
Ah,
things that you
thank
forced
you.
me to?
I forgot to cross that bridge. But it was very helpful and beneficial because as I sat down and asked myself, what are all the different, I saw it from different points of view than I would have if I was just thinking about going to Papua New Guinea.
Mhm.
Um, dun-dun-dun-dun, the dog giving my tools away, those kinds of things. So it was beneficial because it forced me to take a look at it from a point of view that I wouldn't normally take a look at.
Okay,
And I
good,
appreciate it.
good. Well, that's what I hope, people can apply the technique to their own situation. And everybody's different, different issues, different
Different
timing.
boxes.
But the discipline of thinking through what is it that needs to, or what are the factors to be considered, and then what are the actions that need to be taken to make it happen.
Hmm.
Because the whole thing at the end of the day is execution.
Yeah. And let me
And
let me visit that in relation to my
good.
goal of going to Goroka. I'm not going to go this next time he goes. It'll be the last 2 weeks of August, and I've decided not to go. And
Mm.
one of the things that helped me decide not to go is that I have a mentor and dear friend who's on hospice, who's
Oh,
very close to the end of his life.
mm, mm.
And his family lean on me. They look to me for support and encouragement, like
Yeah,
I say,
yeah.
lifting people up. And for me to go now and be gone for 2 weeks would
Mm.
basically send the message that I care more about that than I do about them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My hunch is that the next time this missionary goes to Goroka, which he's talking about going again in a few months, that my mentor's situation will be resolved. He'll be promoted to glory, and I
Mm.
will have been able to help them with the first part of the grieving process, and that they can bless me to go and come back and
Yeah,
pick up.
yeah, yeah.
So that's part of it.
Was
I,
that one of the boxes?
well, no, that's in addition, and I need to add it to the list. The other thing is I need to apply for my passport
Yes.
because I was going to fast track the passport to be able to go in August.
Mm.
And that costs a little extra money.
Yes.
In the meantime,
Quite a bit, actually.
don't say, please don't say. No. So now we're gonna now we're going to apply for the passports with normal processing. And I believe I'll have time before the next time the
Yeah,
missionary
yeah,
goes to
yeah, yeah.
Goroka.
Good.
Um, and good news, my wife is asking that I apply for her passport so that she can be ready to go if she's needed. And and that's great. That I guess that's a separate box.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a wonderful thing
yeah.
to add to the mix.
Yeah,
Okay,
to do
I'm
that all
done.
the
We're
time.
pretty much out of time. Go ahead and conclude for us, please.
No, it's that's the whole purpose is how do you results happen not just by accidents, they happen because of action and purpose. And the whole thing is to find some kind of a discipline to think through what needs to happen.
Hmm.
The other thing that we haven't touched on is not only once you've done that, is to have a record of it, obviously, but to review it to see, am I doing the things that I should be doing?
Give yourself a progress report.
Yeah, and to have the discipline every day and every week to review, did we do the things that I needed to do? Like, for instance, did I send my passport in for renewal?
Yeah.
And when will I do it? And if you're like me, I keep on postponing and postponing. "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not up to it today." Well,
Yes, I'm
then,
like you. I haven't applied for my renewed passport yet.
so the point is that you have to have some kind of a self monitor of progress
Yeah. Yeah.
to assure that if the end goal is reached.
Yeah. Because
And
you
that's,
won't get there if you don't have a passport. I understand.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, thank you. I look forward to next visit.
It's a, it's a pleasure.